Welcome to the Speak Pact podcast, where high-performing speakers and the producers who hire them merge to give you the insider secrets to the lucrative speaking industry. Antoniette Rose, your podcast host and celebrated speaker agent, unveils insider success strategies. Discover a nexus of thought leaders and bookers, maximizing your potential in each and every episode. Your ticket to ultimate speaking success begins right here. Catch the transformative insights waiting for you on the Speak Pact podcast, hosted by the industry powerhouse herself, Antoniette Rose.
Going to be diving into the world of LinkedIn and why it is so important for speakers to take LinkedIn seriously. And to dive into that topic, I am incredibly honored and thrilled to have the leading expert. You'll see him dubbed as the leading expert in one of the world's top LinkedIn and social media experts. He is a two-time Forbes top 50 social media influencers. That's incredible to get that one time. You got it two times. And LinkedIn's top expert in all of Spain, which is where you are right now. So welcome, Mike O'Neill. I'm so thrilled that you're here with us today.
Thank you, Antoniette. Nice to see you again.
Yes, we've done some work together. You've just been a fabulous guide in the world of LinkedIn. We've had you come and speak specifically to my represented speakers, and every single one of them have said that you have really taken them miles on their LinkedIn journey. So let's start with, on all the different social media platforms, right? What really caused you to, I know you're an expert in all of them, but you've really put most of your energy and focus in LinkedIn, and there must have been a reason why you singled them out. What's some of those reasons?
Well, first of all, I couldn't get on Facebook then because it was only for college people.
Oh, we're going way back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm user number 125,841. It's like a social security number, except it starts at 0. So there were 124,000 people before me, and almost all of them are in California. Almost all. Nobody outside of the Bay Area knew what LinkedIn was back in 2003, 2004.
Golly. We've come a long way, baby. Right?
Yeah,
Crazy in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, I had a friend in the Bay Area that invited me, and we'll get back to how you can download your data, and then I've got a really good story to tell about that. Okay, but he invited me, and I didn't know, why not is really the question, right? Not why, but why not? And it seemed familiar to me because I had lost my job after the 9/11 crisis. I was a technology sales engineer. So I worked for a telecom company, and they laid everybody off in the whole United States, just cut them all loose, 2001. And then so a couple of, time kind of goes by a little bit, and, that goes down and LinkedIn comes up. And one of the last things I had to do at my job was to train my sales reps on how to use Salesforce.com.
Oh,
okay. CRM system, a way to keep track of people, conversations. And LinkedIn seemed a little familiar to me. A profile was like a data record over there. It just seemed kind of familiar. So it was easy for me to pick it up quickly.
Sure.
And frankly, it didn't take a long time to learn everything there was to learn. There were no pictures. There were no company pages, no posts, no groups. No. Nothing. Very little. And actually, MySpace was the leader in the industry at that time. And had MySpace had better management, we'd all be using MySpace, quite frankly. because they were the early adopter. Yeah,
and I'll bet there's some listeners who don't even know what MySpace is, which is pretty crazy, because that's like people who don't know what Facebook is, right? Back in the day, it was basically that everybody was on MySpace, right? Now,
That's right.
There are people who don't even know what it is.
Yep. And one real interesting thing, Justin Timberlake owns MySpace.
That's still a thing? It's still alive?
Yeah. He bought a controlling interest in it about 5 years ago for $25 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting side note. A lot of little interesting side notes on today's deal.
I wonder what he's planning for it. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. He controls it, not like Elon Musk controlling a big thing. He controls a little thing that's kind of really only for musicians anymore. And that's how it started.
So you were playing around in this field that nobody even really knew what that playing field was, right? That playing field of LinkedIn.
Sure.
There must have been something that attracted you, that you thought, this is going to be something that I want to take seriously.
I had time. Okay. I wasn't working. And I was running when I got done working professionally, got laid off, I had kind of started doing networking events. And I was doing networking events so I could help my sales reps. I supported a sales rep team. I could find leads for my sales reps because, damn it, they weren't doing it for themselves. They just weren't. I can't explain it. It's their job to find leads. And here I am, the engineer at the company, bringing in the leads. And I was. And we get together for happy hour. I think we had a lot of unhappy married people, quite frankly. My marriage wasn't really good at the time. And I know a couple of my other friends wasn't. And, they would tell some other friends. It was a little bit of a Lonely Hearts Club, a little bit. And someone would pick up the tab. So the guy from WorldCom would pick up the tab. The guy from Sprint would pick up the tab because, they got to spend money. Yeah. And then LinkedIn came along, and I was, that's how it kind of filled the gap a little bit between working and all. And it seemed like a great platform to promote an event business as well. What turned out the event business was a good platform to promote my LinkedIn business out of the other way. Events and LinkedIn go really well together. I mean, you know that, right? If you go to a conference, you want to find people, you collect business cards, you connect with them on LinkedIn. And, this is where I start with a little tidbit. Okay. Lots of little freebies here. If you go to an event, look up all the speakers. They're right on the website. Many times they have a little in button right by their name. So it clicks right to their profile. Can yourself a message that says, I'm going to the Artificial Intelligence Forum in San Francisco. I see you're a speaker. I'd love to connect. Hope I see you at the event. And then just paste it in and put in their first name. Paste it in, put in their first name. Paste it in, put in their first name. They'll almost all connect with you. I mean, your connect rate will be 75%. Maybe more. You could hit 100. Ka-ching. There you go. So when you've got an event, also at the event, you want to meet a lot of people and collect business cards from people. Get a card, because the card is what you can use. You go find them on LinkedIn and to remind you of this and that, and put a little note on the back. That's just basic stuff. This is not LinkedIn specific, except you're going to invite them on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Okay. Just write a little note and say, can I invite you on? You're on LinkedIn, aren't you? Can I invite you? Sure. And then you just put a little L on the back of the card just to show that you asked them a question. I asked them if they're on LinkedIn. They said they would connect with me. I put an L on the back of the card.
Yeah.
Some people will write other notes and stuff, and that's not my topic here. But that's kind of how we got started. And I was in Denver, Colorado. Denver's a very friendly place, wonderful town. And I was there during the boom days. And I mean, the boom days is when we got a baseball team. John Elway was winning Super Bowls. The Colorado Avalanche started, and the first 2 years won championships for hockey. A team that moves cities never does well at first, right? The bad teams move. But we got a really great team. We had 4 championships in Denver at the time. So championships and sports and LinkedIn and social media all kind of go together a little bit. They really do. When I say championships, I mean, this isn't the golf championship. This is the NFL, hockey, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's something that people have in common. So another interesting tidbit here and thing to learn is when we have things in common with people, they're more likely to connect and enjoy having a call.
Right.
Okay? And when I say enjoy having a call, well, boy, their lead score for sales just went up from 0 to 50 or more. The concept of lead score, I'll explain that here a little bit. I was in sales for 30 years. A lead score is what are my chances of closing a deal? Now, with speakers, closing a deal means what are my chances of getting a speaking gig or a training gig? Mm-hmm. Training and speaking, I'm going to blend them together here a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. The money's similar, the approach is a little bit different, but a lot of speakers are trainers. I was both, and I just can't single them out quite a bit.
Sure.
Because when you're speaking out there, you're laying little premonitions for your training. That's why I was on national speaking tours. I was out there to promote myself so that people would bring me in to do public trainings or private trainings for businesses. Mm-hmm. So anyway, sports is something that brings people together. So boy, when you're in championship town, you can just mention in those invitations, boy, wasn't that a great game the other day? And they're in the best mood too. Mm. So, but you got to be in a city that's winning championships to do some of that. I was in the losing side more times than not, and most people do, right? How many people win the championship? One team.
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's about relationships, finding common ground in relationships. And I love your tip about if you're going to go to an event, look up who's going to be there, right? Whether it's a speaker or maybe they even have an attendee list, and people that you feel like would be an interesting connection. Connect with them ahead of time on LinkedIn if it's possible. And then you've already got that warmth already started. They get to check you out, and you're not an absolute stranger when you get to meet face to face at these different events. So I'm 100% on board with you. Events and speaking. Yes, go for it.
One step further.
Yeah.
Especially since we have speakers here in the audience. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
The people putting on the event. Hey, I'm going to be attending the AI conference out there. By the way, I'm a speaker. But I'm a speaker watching your speakers. But, that might be a pretty good idea too, don't you think? Since they hire speakers and they particularly like people who understand their conference.
Yeah.
As a speaker, for me, it was so difficult. I go to a conference and I don't know anything about the people or the environment. I always wanted to go early. I want to go around the trade show. I want to kind of pick up the lingo. And the insider slang and lingo is really good in LinkedIn as well. When you're writing messages to people, if you can drop words that are uncommon words in your messages and in your post, you're a lot further along to creating that buddy-buddy relationship. As a speaker, I never wanted to use words that the audience wasn't familiar with if I could avoid it. And if I couldn't avoid it, I wanted to say, hey, guys, gals, we're going to learn some new words. It's vocabulary time. Okay, so you're going to walk out of here smarter than when you walked in. I'm just not going to take the thoughts in your brain, spin them around a little bit. We're going to put things inside that weren't there before. Okay, it's mind-bending time. Okay, take notes if you like. I'll let you know when I've got a really big thing to say, like I have here. I'll let you know when to really pay attention, when to get the notepad out. Okay. But in the early days of LinkedIn, it didn't do much. So there was the new factor. It's like, wow, what is that thing? Now everybody knows it. Everybody, it's totally saturated, like a storm. And trees are falling down because the ground is so saturated. So you've got to find a new area, and I have found new area. I always have. In 2006, the new area was over there, and then in 2010 it was over there, and in 2013 it was over there. Today the world is a complex combination on LinkedIn. I'll make it easier and simplify it for everybody, but it's a lot more complex. When LinkedIn was in the first 5 years, no one was creating content. Now that's one of the biggest things, right? What are you gonna write about? How many people are gonna like it? How many people are gonna share it? How many people are gonna care about it? How do we build a post or content that games the algorithm so that more people see it?
Well, I think you've kind of touched on some pieces of the answer to this next question I'm going to ask you. And for some, it might be obvious, for others, not so obvious. So I'd like to dive into this. But why is LinkedIn specifically important to speakers and corporate trainers? You've mentioned a couple things. Getting that insider language, that is golden, right? That definitely boosts your lead score for leads for your speaking engagements, right? But also just for your referral possibilities, and just building those relationships. You've already touched on some of the reasons why, in my mind, every speaker needs a solid, actively utilized LinkedIn profile. If you don't get any other profile anywhere else, you have to have LinkedIn. I know why, and I try to verbalize it. What would you say to that?
Well, let me ask you a question, Antonia. Okay, do the speakers you work with have one sheets?
Yep, press kits, one sheets. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, your LinkedIn profile is like a one sheet that people can search on and find. Think about it that way. If you're a speaker or a trainer, think about the one sheet principle. Okay, it's and in a one sheet, at the very top of the one sheet up there is something really big to get their attention at the very top, or they might not read more of the one sheet. And that's your headline on LinkedIn. So your profile has a one sheet principle for speakers and trainers and celebrities. And it starts at the top. If people don't like what they see at the top, game over. They're not going to scroll down or see anymore. In a one sheet, if they don't like what's on top, they're not going to read the details down below of the 5 takeaways that you're going to get from my session. So think about that. It's inverted. More important, less important.
That's a really vital tip, and I hope that doesn't get glossed over with our listeners, because that's definitely a pro tip, Mike, and thank you for bringing that to the table. There's a difference between having a LinkedIn profile and having a highly effective LinkedIn profile. And if you, as a speaker or a corporate trainer, set up your LinkedIn profile much like you would your one sheet, your pro clip, your press kit, right? Set it up like that. You don't need to really do a lot of thinking. Just go to your press kit, and what's the thing you're going to highlight first? How are you going to communicate what you bring to the table and why you're the one that should bring it to the table, right? All of that. So thank you for that. That was a really
Bingo.
Great tip.
Exactly so. Now on a one sheet, at the top of a one sheet is always a picture of the speaker. Your profile's got a great picture of you as well. I mean, the analogies are really, really good. When you told me about our audience, I thought, really, what can I do with because I speak as well. I don't speak as much now. I'm in Spain. Kind of a little hard. No habla en inglés aquí mucho. Okay. But I thought about it, and my one sheet. If you looked at my one sheet, it's still damn good. It's from 6 or 8 years ago, but it still fits. My addresses are a little bit different. Things have changed a little bit, but you got a big picture of me in mind. I'm pointing my finger like this. It's like a real 3-dimensional image. This kind of thing. And there's some really catchy words at the top, and I paid money for that. I paid, $500 or so for my one sheet. And included the photography. It was a good deal. Best $500 I ever spent, probably. Paid that one back really quickly.
Yeah. Some people are trying to say that they're not needed anymore. I find that they're very, very strongly utilized and very strongly needed. But let's just say for the sake of argument, they're not. You still can grab that information because it's organized in the way that it should be organized and utilize it for things like your LinkedIn profile or in other places. You just kind of utilize it as a model. So I love that you recognize its value.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So this is a big, important point time as well. A lot of these already, haven't we? A lot of
Yeah,
these.
we're going for it.
So I mentioned the things at the top matter the most. Well, there's a big image at the top. It's called a banner image. And for speakers, it should be a picture of you in front of a great audience out there of smiling people, taking notes and learning stuff. Okay. I always wanted to get someone when I was speaking to get pictures of back there, move to the left, to the right, get the right moment. When I knew they were taking a picture, I would hold my finger in the air. I wouldn't be moving. I would, get them what they wanted. Okay. And by the way, the camera guys who got all the gear, they really, if they got more gear, if they got more than just an iPhone, more than just a little Canon camera, if they got the big thing here and stuff, those are the guys. All right. I mean, they know how to blur and do all that kind of stuff. They got the fancier the camera, the better the photography. It isn't about iPhones anymore. I mean, these do a great job, but not when we're talking about that picture that goes up at the top. If you can affect that. So two big things: headline and your background image at the top. Next, we're going to scroll down. So that was the biggest. Now we're going to scroll down, still really big, as we're going from the top to the. We're about 20% of the way down now, and that's an area called an about section. It used to be called a summary. It's where you get to tell your story. And there's 2,500, 2,600 characters. I mean, it's a page and a half of printed text, single line. You can put a lot in it. The first thing you'll realize about it, though, is it only shows a little bit, and you got to click some button over here to see more and see the rest. It's been condensed. So what you need to do is think about optimization. When I talk about optimization, optimize to what's at the very top. Optimize. Don't assume that anybody is going to click the see more button. Assume they're not. Okay. I would like to know the statistics on how many people actually click to see more. I don't know. But you do know that the text that they don't have to see is something that they're going to see. As long as they like, you got a good looking picture up here, the background image, you got a headline. I'm going to scroll down to see that. But you got to scroll down to see it. Yeah. This next section, the about section, isn't above the fold, as they say. You got to go down to see it a little bit. So optimize to that and greet people in the first person. It's not, Mike O'Neill does these things. It's like, hi, I'm Mike, and let me tell you something. It's from you. It's from you. You're speaking to your audience.
I think that's a mistake I've made. I need to look at that, but I think it's in the third person. I'm going to look at that. So
it's a very common mistake among speakers.
I bet.
Because
we're used to being introduced
for them, and the writers who write for them don't know about this. But no, yes. It's got to be from you.
Let's talk about the headline a little bit and that about/summary section. So in the headline, should you be saying, I'm Superwoman at A, B, and C, or should it be a question or speaking to their need? Like what makes a good headline versus an okay headline? Okay.
This is really time well spent. You remember this from our group session that we did. Yeah. Thank you for that. Think about your headline. It's about 200 and some characters, 210, I think exactly. Put it into three parts. And you got the first part is going to be is a title and company. Okay, it's the business like stuff. It doesn't start out with I amaze audiences. That's coming. I said there's three parts. Okay. So Mike O'Neill, professional speaker, keynote speaker, CEO of Integrated Alliances, something like that. If speaking was my number one thing, that's how I would lead out mine. Yeah. LinkedIn training and coaching and services is really my number one thing. So you'll see that on mine. Okay. So next, the second section is about qualifications. Okay. Qualifications, 2-time Forbes social media influencer, top 15 in Spain, that kind of thing. Okay, that kind of thing. Okay, and put an emoji in between them. Now, just the little vertical pipe, what's it called? The vertical pipe is near the delete key. That's what some people do, and that's okay. That's okay. But I like to use a ski diamond, a black ski diamond or a blue ski diamond. I'm from Colorado. It used to be because of that. That's quite frankly why I started that way. In fact, I'd use 2 of them. I'd have double black diamonds. It was kind of like an inside joke. I'm sorry. But use an emoji that separates them. So the second section in your headline was about qualifications. And the third section is something interesting. Something interesting. Now, qualifications and something interesting can kind of be the same. I could put the Forbes stuff in either place. I'm a top 10 person on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm the 10th person to reach the maximum size of LinkedIn, 30,000 connections, 2009. And that was my little quick quippy thing, 30K, 30,000 connections is what we used to say, Now there's a lot of other people that are at that, so it's not as unique as it used to be, but something that kind of stands out to your audience. Because you're not trying to show to everybody everything you could do. You're trying to show your audience, the people that you want to buy your products and services, something to justify why they would bring you in.
Is there a limit on, I know there's 30,000 limit on connections. Is there a limit on followers?
No. Some people have 300,000 followers.
Or millions if they're like,
yeah, sure.
Gates or someone.
I know people that have 300,000 followers. I don't know Lionel Richie, but maybe he's got maybe not Lionel Richie, but Mick Jagger.
So let's be clear. There's the cover photo. There's your photo, and then the headline is what's just under your photo. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, right below your name. Now I'll throw out another. Write this one down, okay? There's a section there called pronouns. He, him, he, she. I don't know, maybe not he, she, but it's an open little piece of text that you put right by your name. Mine says the LinkedIn Rockstar, not LinkedIn Rockstar, but the LinkedIn Rockstar.
So instead of the pronoun, you're allowed to put whatever you want to in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not into the. Anyway, we won't go there. But
that's really not designed for people where it's obvious. That's for where it's not obvious. Quite frankly, I mean, if you're like me and I say, "Call me he," something's not quite screwed in quite right there, or the explanation about this field is not correct. But yeah,
I had no idea you could utilize that for other reasons. That was golden right there. That we could actually claim who we are, right? You are a renowned leader in the LinkedIn space. Why not say that? I'm very well known in the speaker agent space.
You get about 20 characters.
20 characters. Okay.
Maybe a little less. My wife says LinkedIn consultant on hers, Esmeralda.
Okay.
Mine says the LinkedIn Rockstar.
I'm going to go do that. That's a lot of fun.
The LinkedIn Rockstar is about how far it goes.
Okay. I'm going to go to first person also. Any tips with regards to the cover page or the profile picture that you should use? Cover photo.
As far as your picture, an iPhone will take a good enough picture to do that. Okay. The phones have come a long way. Now, I'll put in a word for professional photographers. My wife does profiles and branding and all that. Esmeralda Diaz-Aroca. She's freaking amazing. And in her package that she does for people, it includes a photo shoot. So she's got her photographer who she's trained. She wants photos with people doing all these kinds of things because she does content for them. Mm. So she needs to go to their 600 pictures is typical. She needs to go to their 600 pictures and go kind of grab that one and bring it in because there's a thought bubble above the head and the picture where they're making a point. Mm-hmm. Where she needs that. And we'll talk about content a little bit here, okay? Because that kind of fits into this. But the the picture you choose really needs to be relevant to what you're doing. As a speaker, a lot of people, you want your head to be about like this. Okay. You don't want to show yourself on a stage way back here. That's the background image.
Yes.
The
I'm glad
zoom
you said
out is
that.
on top.
Mm-hmm.
Your smiling face is right up there.
Yes.
Right up there. It's called a headshot, and you should think about it that way. Oh, little thing I'll point out as well. Here's another interesting one. Which looks better? You want to be looking in. So if your head is looking away, don't. When I have a client comes up and they're looking away, I download their picture, I flip it horizontally, and then I point it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ask them to go get a picture and looking the other way. It's too much, but I just download it, flip horizontally, and now they're looking. You want to be looking in like you're interested in your profile, not like looking away and you're bored about it.
Yes, that's big. And I love that you said don't put a full body picture in the profile picture of you speaking. Save that for the cover picture some other place. This is a profile picture. It's a connecting photo where you can, I like when you're actually making eye contact. I know not everybody's doing that. I just switched I had a side profile for a really long time, and I switched to more of looking in. But do you care about where the eyes are going other than don't look off the page, look into the page, right?
That's a personal opinion. That some people are, and I like it. I've liked it both ways, where someone's like thinking and someone looking directly at you. I won't pick a side on that one.
Okay. Well, and I do love that you talked about, Esmeralda, creating what we call photo banks. And I've got it. Anytime we get a good little shot, sometimes it's on accident, sometimes it's on purpose. It goes into our photo bank so that my social media people can pull from those as they need them, and they're there already. Another good bank to have is a story bank. And another good bank to have is a testimonial bank. And you just keep depositing them as you come across a new story, a new photo, a new testimonial, so that they are there for your people or yourself to grab as you need it. You don't have to go invent something or go hunting. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the story bank, because I'm really big on that as well. I've got 30 or 40 great stories that I can just kind of pull from, man. In college, I'll just throw something out. In college, I bought an IBM PC, and it launched my career. I became an engineer, but I graduated engineering. But the IBM PC was way too interesting. It was 2 floppies.
I remember those floppy disks.
Yeah, 64K of memory, a dot matrix printer, brr, 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 and a modem that went squealy, squealy, squealy.
Yes, I remember.
It was $5,000. $5,000 back then. And frankly, the IBM PC was the brand new thing, and almost nobody had them. Yeah. And what I say is, what if I had bought an Osborne or an Apple II instead? They were the safe bet. In fact, the Apple II was the leading product in the industry. Initially, I thought, well, I should have bought an Apple because it had all this software and the IBM didn't. But the IBM PC got me my job. Ramada Hotels hired me because I was the only person that was interviewing for this PC expert job who'd actually taken 5 screws on the back of an IBM PC, slide the cabinet out, and I had to put a card in to hook the printer up and another card in to hook the modem up. And that's what got me my job at Ramada Hotels, running a network of 750 PCs attached to a mainframe right out of college, as green as it gets. My work experience was running a driving range at a golf course. That was my experience. And I'm up against folks that were mainframe programmers and all these other people, and I got the job.
That's fabulous. I do want to give credit where credit's due with regards to the story bank. I first learned about that in one of the SpeakPact interviews with Cesar Castro. He is all about storytelling, and it was really my first introduction to a story bank. And I carried that over to, well, we also need a photo bank because I've been doing it. I just was never calling it that, and a testimonials bank. So it really is brilliant. But I do want to mention Cesar because
That's
was
great.
my first introduction to that.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Okay, so now we've got a great profile photo. We have a great headline. What do you like to see in the cover photo part?
You mean the headline image, the background image?
Is that what it's called? Headline image. Okay.
I like to see a speaker in front of an audience and the audience paying a lot of attention.
Okay.
And the better the audience, the better. A bunch of college students doesn't do it if you're trying to get paid. If you're out there to make the world a better place, great. Let the students be out there, but they don't pay much attention. Nowadays, they're not paying much attention. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Esmeralda and I spoke in Granada at the University in Granada here in Spain about a year ago, and we rehearsed for this because we knew it was going to be difficult. I can only speak in English. She didn't feel comfortable speaking in English then. It's been a year and a half now, so she's really good at it. So she spoke in Spanish and I spoke in English and stuff. And afterwards, the students, and these are last year students, these aren't early year, these are seniors.
Yeah.
They're all huddled around me. 20 people all huddled around me. I showed them my link to my profile. I had my phone here. I was accepting connections there. And I told them that when they got in fact, this will be advice for our group here, okay? That when they got their profile ready, they did as good as they could do it. I told them the things to do. You know what I'm going to look at? I'm going to score it. If you got a crappy picture there, don't contact me because you know that's an issue. I'm going to ding you points for that. When you think you got a chance for a perfect score or at least a B or a B plus, then contact me. And they did. And in LinkedIn now, you can have an English and a Spanish profile. You can have many languages.
I did not know that. I have some speakers who are bilingual. So
if you go to my LinkedIn profile in the upper right corner, you'll see English and Spanish. And I use ChatGPT to translate. And I'll tell you that Spanish is 30% more verbose than English is.
Wow.
So when I translated to Spanish, I had to take things out. And the funny thing is the way I had to take things out in English and then retranslate it because I didn't know what I was taking out in Spanish if I was doing things. I could do a little bit, but my technique was to edit my English stuff down so when I translated it, the size fit.
Well, you're in Spain, so that's a little obvious, right? What the benefits of doing that would be. Let's say somebody in North America. Obviously, there's a very healthy Spanish, population in North America. Have you gained new clients? And if you do they expect that you know Spanish? Like, should that only?
No, I really haven't, to be honest.
Okay.
To be honest, I really haven't. I felt compelled to do that since that's the language of the country in which I live.
And the native language of your wife. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense for you.
Yeah, ella habla español conmigo en casa.
I love knowing this. This is great. I did not know this. So, Mike, by this point in our talk, there are definitely people who are going to want to know what kinds of services do you offer? How can they find you? Where do they... obviously, Mike O'Neill at LinkedIn, right? You're going to be there, but there are other Mike O'Neills. So how do they find you?
Well, if you put in my name and it's O''Neil, N-E-I-L, I'm the one that after the name O'Neill has the American and Spanish flags, the icons right after my name. So you can scroll down until you see the stars and the stripes and the Spanish championship soccer flag as part of my name. Now, you're not supposed to do that.
I was going to say, is that a thing too, or?
I could get into a little trouble, and I know some people that have done those sorts of things. Okay, those flags could go in your headline, be part of that. In fact, they used to be. But I had someone who told me who was a professional profile writer, I should put them up there. And she says, but you got to be aware that you're really not supposed to put emojis in there. But if you've scrolled through LinkedIn, you've seen lots of emojis out there. And, I feel like I got a little clout with LinkedIn.
Well, you have a more common name. That would make sense. For me, my name's not so common, right? Antoniette Rose with a Z, right? Not so common. I don't want to get in trouble with LinkedIn either. You do have clout. I don't necessarily have clout in LinkedIn, but that's a great way to now differentiate you from the other Mike O'Neills out there. And you are very unique. You have a lot that you bring to the table. How could you help somebody, and it's specifically a speaker, take their profile to the next level?
Well, I actually do some profile work for people. For many years I was not, because I was really kind of heads down doing something else. But I found that people really do value my insight and opinions. And I did write a couple LinkedIn books on the topic.
Okay, let's look at those. So I like the way it looks like. Was that the Mad Lib magazine, or no?
Rolling
Stones magazine. That's what it looks like. Rock the World with Your Online Present by Mike O'Neill. Okay, that looks like a fabulous.
Yes, I didn't want to say the word LinkedIn in the title because I was worried about that. These are actual concert tickets of concerts I've been to.
That's fun. I love that's so indicative of your personality.
Yeah, Donald Fagen, Journey, Pink Floyd, The Dead, Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Let's go. Are any of them still? And what's your other book?
The other book, I had a business partner for about 6 or 7 years, and there she is, Lori Ruff.
Rock the World. So this is the one that speaks specifically to LinkedIn.
They both do. I just didn't use the word. Look at the subtitle. Okay, good books have a subtitle.
Okay, your ticket to a multi-platinum LinkedIn profile. So we've gotten some tips on making a multi-platinum. Can you tell us what are some of the ways that you got to 30,000 connections? What are some of the things that you did to boost your followers on there? You've got even way more than that in followers. So was it just consistency? I know it was concerted, intentional effort. Just tell us a little bit about that. And how can you help someone maybe take their profile to higher visibility?
Okay, so the world has changed. It was easier to add connections when it was new.
10 years ago, yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
15. I was getting over 100 invitations a day for years, and I was an open networker, which means I would connect to anybody. Not quite anybody, but pretty much. Okay, even if they didn't have a picture. Nowadays, no picture, no go.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, I recommend that if someone doesn't have a picture and they're inviting you, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. There weren't scams back then like there are now. But the term open networker is a nice term to use in your headline or in your about section to let people know that, hey, if you invite me, I'm going to accept. Unless you don't have to say open networker except for rotten people or something. Just the term open networker attracts a lot of people. Okay, you'll increase your inbound connection rate. In those days, there was a service, and I knew all the insider people. I know all the old school insider people. Still do. I'm not new, but I haven't talked to some of them for decades.
Sure,
okay, decade plus. But it was called Top Linked. So for $50, you would register on Top Linked, and people would go to toplinked.com. They would download the CSV file, and then you could import a CSV file into LinkedIn and invite all those people. I mean, they don't have that now. Another thing that comes up is like skills. How do I put skills on my profile, and how do I get people to endorse my skills? That's really hard. But it didn't used to be. because at the top of your profile was a rotating list of your skills, and people would just go ding, 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 ding. And it was right at the top of the profile. So I've got skills that say 99 plus, 99 plus, 99 plus, 99 plus, da, 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 da. Don't worry about the amount of people who've endorsed your skills. We're moving down in the profile a little bit without kind of finishing up. We'll come back to skills a little bit, but think about that. Skills that, public speaking, keynote speaking, there's a good, 5 or 10 keywords to kind of put in there and use them all. Use them all. LinkedIn's algorithm feeds off of that. So, and I like to use thesaurus.com, or I use ChatGPT now. I used to use thesaurus.com to come up with other words, variations. But really, I suggest everyone become at least moderately capable in ChatGPT. Okay, there's a big one here for all of us. Yes. I just mentioned, you go to ChatGPT and you say, what are 20 keywords I might use in my LinkedIn profile if I'm a professional speaker and trainer? Okay, what are? And so when you ask ChatGPT for 20 keywords, you can say, all right, there's the keywords. Now you say, now put each one of them in a sentence. Okay. So now you've got sentences that talk about not just keynote speaking, but breakout speaker, recurring speaker, all those things, and sentences for you. And ChatGPT wrote that. You can say, make it for an audience of people in California that have conferences of more than 1,000 attendees in the technology space, and add some more words. And now all of a sudden you see how ChatGPT can really be your friend. And I just gave you some of the best advice that there is right there. Take advantage of the tools to do these things now.
Yes.
I have when I work with folks, so if you come with me and you want to get a profile written, I'm going to be giving you a script that says, I live here, I work here, I do this work. These are the 3 things that people get from it, blah, blah, blah. And I take that with a big bunch of instructions. I put it into ChatGPT and I get a headline and I get a summary about section. And it's even got emojis on it. It's got a call to action. It's got your phone number or your email address or your Calendly link already included in it.
Oh, I love it.
Now, I don't just take what comes there and don't do anything with it. I take it and here's my wife's book. We're a profile family here.
LinkedIn,
Perfect
love it.
10 profile. Here's her other book.
Social Selling. Esmeralda.
So, when I say LinkedIn brought us together, I got asked to write the prologue.
You met your woman through LinkedIn. This is new news to me. That is so fun. Oh my goodness. See,
and
another reason
two
why.
2 years later, she had me write the prologue to the next book as well. And for the first 10 years, she didn't speak any English at all.
Oh, wow. That must have been a fun courting.
I didn't know it. We're on Skype going back and forth, kind of like you would do WhatsApp now. By the way, WhatsApp, there's another big one. Get a WhatsApp account. WhatsApp. That's the bomb. A little less the bomb in the US than it is in Spain and other places, but WhatsApp's the big deal. Okay. And it's your WhatsApp ID is your phone number. So you don't have to find an ID. There we are.
I love WhatsApp. Aw, beautiful couple. I really enjoy you guys. You guys are so much fun. Okay. So, oh my goodness, Mike, we can go on. There's just so much more I want to ask you, and we're towards the end. And I echo what you said. Let's utilize the tools, but don't default to the tools, right? There's a way to utilize these tools. When you ask the question, how you ask is very important. Don't just take it for verbatim, right? Use it as a kind of a guide, some ideas, but make it your own. You can tell when somebody is cut and pasted, and that takes the humanity and you out of it. So yes,
so your profile's there to attract people, but that's That's called opportunistic.
Mm.
Okay, new word, opportunistic. You lay it out there and you hope people find you. That's advertising. Deterministic is the other word. That's where I work in. I work more in the deterministic world.
Mm.
So we go out, we use your LinkedIn profile to go find people who hire speakers, conference people, you name it, companies, HR people, people that might hire speakers. And we invite them to connect, and then we talk to them afterwards to see if we can get them in a phone call, get them in a Zoom call now, with a Calendly link, or you don't jump too quickly to provide your Calendly link. You say can I send you a link to my calendar? You ask for permission to do it.
You don't want a French kiss on the first date, right? Let's have a cup of coffee first. Like just kind of.
Yeah. Now it's amazing how many exceptions there are to that rule. You end up marrying that woman. So that first date is another thing. And I've got other stories to tell.
Okay, but I love this whole concept of opportunistic versus deterministic. So I'm assuming opportunistic is just, I hope they find me. And deterministic is a little bit more intentional. Am I right in understanding?
Exactly so. Now, an opportunistic path, when you publish content and you comment on other people, when you're just circulating in the content world out there, that's still opportunistic. And if you consider it a billboard you put up there. Well, if you put up a billboard in the right way, in the right place, when people are driving through, when they've got eyeballs out here going home, and it's attractive, and the type is the right this and everything, well, that's a whole lot better than just saying billboard.
Yeah.
Okay. So content matters and stuff. It does.
Does call to action play a role in this theology?
Absolutely, it does, and it does in your profile as well as in your communications.
Okay.
In your profile, your call to action goes at the bottom of your about section. So let's spend just 90 seconds on the about section. Now that I told you, it's where you tell your story. How did I get from being a farmer in Nebraska to being on stages in New York City? How did my life evolve? It's storytelling. Okay, and it's compact storytelling. And it ends, you've got 2,500 characters here. It ends with a call to action where it says, well, if this sounds interesting, book a call with me, or go to my blog, or go to my webpage. Or I don't like to put phone numbers in there because I don't like to get phone calls that I have no idea who it is.
Yes.
Frankly, there's just too much scamming and stuff that goes on now.
Sure. Yep.
Now on WhatsApp, it's different. Add me on WhatsApp. Like I said, WhatsApp's a big deal. Okay, because there's my little bit there. But you also at the end of that section, you start out, you're telling your story. Down here is where you talk about your personal things. That's where you'll find out that I've been to 1,000 concerts, including Elvis Presley.
Ooh, very cool.
Including Bob Marley, by the way, including Led Zeppelin. And I'm into cars and traveling. Costa Rica, Spain, these things.
That's that personal connection piece that you were talking about, right? You're meeting people that might, I also love concerts or whatever it might be. He's somebody I probably would really enjoy working with.
If someone mentions Pink Floyd to me, they've got it all the time they want. I'll spend an hour and a half with them.
What would you call that? Their lead score went way up.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. And, I've had some medical issues and stuff that have gone on in my life. I'm not sharing that on LinkedIn, but on Facebook I have. And I've had some really great conversations with people that, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, 30,000 on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And that's bringing us together. When you've gone through a similar hardship in life, that really brings people together. We have a positive experience or a negative experience. It's the stuff in the middle we don't think about so much.
Yes.
I went to the grocery store today. Well, so did I. That doesn't mean, grocery store. Wow. What store did you go to? But, We just saw AC/DC play here in Spain.
Oh,
Saw
yeah,
Bruce Springsteen play here in Spain.
very
That's a
cool.
pretty damn interesting thing to talk about to someone if they're into music. You know, how was
Yeah.
it different there?
For sure. So you've given us so many gold nuggets all the way through. What about the person who is a little bit overwhelmed, right, by LinkedIn? I say, number one, reach out to Mike, and you're so generous. Like, you'll get on the phone with someone and give of yourself, and then let them know, right, some next steps that they could take with you if they really want to take their LinkedIn profile to the next level. So my encouragement is for people who are listening to this podcast who really know that they need to take their LinkedIn profile to a whole new level. The one-stop shop, right? The first place to go is to get on a call with you. And if they need different aspects of that, you've got Esmeralda as your partner as well. So there's just, you're fully covered. So that's from me. But from you, if you were to tell our audience one thing, just out of all these different things, right? If one thing they can do to really make themselves stand out as a speaker on LinkedIn, I hear from speakers every single day that they get speaking engagements through strong LinkedIn profiles. What is something they can do that just any LinkedIn dummy, right, could do that would make a big difference?
Well, I'll do two because they're
Okay.
related. Okay. First of all, connect with everybody that you already know. And when I mean already know, I mean they know you. Not like I know who you are, but you name recognition. You've got brand recognition. Even if they haven't heard from you for 25 years, they know, yeah, that's not Tony. Yeah, sure, I'll click with you. So just build up the people you already know. And you know, you can start with your phone, you can start with your Outlook. Just build that up, okay? People that you already know will connect with you. In fact, in a lot of cases, you don't even need to have the fancy profile, but it's better to have the fancy profile before you do that.
Sure.
Okay. And then create a post. Well, I'm just asking for twice a month, every 2 weeks. And think about what would be interesting to the people that I want to attract. What would be interesting to them? There's a whole science behind posts, and I really can't get into it that much here. My wife Esmeralda is the goddess of it. I mean, absolutely crazy wild. And of course, she uses ChatGPT to do research for her clients. Nuclear engineering. She's got a nuclear engineering client, and you know, she's been working with them for years, and she's got to always be coming up with new material. What am I going to write new? There isn't that much news in nuclear engineering, but she always comes up with something. Mm. And posts are measured. The big measure on posts is called impressions. Nobody can see it but you. Other people can see how many people liked it or commented or shared, but only you get to see the impressions. And if you can get impressions above 200, 300, you're doing really good. That means the algorithm from LinkedIn is saying, oh, look at that one. That's important. They're putting you in front of more people. You might get to 1,000. When you hire somebody to do this, like hire Esmeralda or hire me and I bring in Esmeralda, you know, you get into well above thousands. Now, not on your first post. You've got to keep it starts at 0. We're all born naked, right? Starts at 0. So, but beyond that, you know, I'm just asking every 2 weeks. Now, you might create them on a weekend where you're on a whim. You might create 3, 4, 5 of them on a weekend or so, and then just spread them out later. But every 2 weeks is a good deal. You don't need to be a daily poster. Not multiple times daily, not even weekly. I'm just asking.
I've heard that LinkedIn doesn't like more than one post a day. Their algorithms like.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yep.
They favor, for whatever reason, because each platform is a little bit different, but they would favor one per day over 5 in a day and then nothing. right?
Yeah,
So
that's right. That's right.
really interesting. And that is a just perfect close of our pact, your and my pact together, Mike, to make the greatest impact in our spaces that we can. And then our pact, our challenge to our audience here at Speak Pact. Utilize your LinkedIn profile to make the biggest impact that you can so that you can attract more engagements and get your voice out there, get your message out there, and grow closer to that vision that you have of yourself as that next level speaker. And I 100% agree that with you, Mike, that LinkedIn is not a nice have. It is a necessary when it comes to the event space and to speakers and corporate trainers in particular.
It's the center point of our industry. If you see a speaker that doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, you got to really wonder why. You know, what is my thought would be that their LinkedIn, they did something bad and LinkedIn shut them down. That would be my impression nowadays, because if you're doing the right things, you've got it. I mean, I just can't imagine anybody, and it's free. You know, I mean, the folks I work with, because we're connecting people up. I'm the connection master. I search, I find the people to connect with, I get them connected with it. That's the deterministic part. That's really more my world now. But you don't need a paid account to do most of the things. And if you've got a good coach and got someone helping you, a free account will do everything you need it to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sales Navigator is the fancy tool that I work with primarily for folks. And of course, you can always, you know, a faster car will get you to the grocery store faster, you know, but still, you're going to come home, you're going to eat.
Mm-hmm. We utilize LinkedIn tremendously. It's my place. Like, I absolutely love the people I've met. I met you through LinkedIn, and just the connections have been invaluable. And we utilize the free account. We don't have Navigator, so we've gone a long way on LinkedIn without having to pay. One day we'll probably will graduate to that, but it just hasn't seemed necessary for us at this point.
Well, let me add one last thing, because we're getting close to where I can talk about this now. We're developing an application. The developers work on it all the time, although in August in Spain, they take time off. Okay?
Yes.
And they're off next week. Okay. Sometimes they'll take a whole month off, but not my guys. Okay. And it uses a LinkedIn free account to guide people through connecting. I do the searches for them. I find the prospects. They can scrub a list of, here's a list of people. They don't like some people on there or so. They're doing it in a Google sheet, so it's something they really know how to use. You know, no, yes, no. I take out the people without pictures for them already. I mean, so the connect rate goes up nicely. And then it guides them through the manual process of inviting people, discovering who connected, discovering who responded, message templates, reports, that whole bit. And that'll be ready before October 1st. I've learned a lot about
offering
free accounts and what they can do. And this is designed for free accounts.
Very cool. Okay. Be on the lookout for that. And whoever's listening, definitely follow Mike. I mean, he is the LinkedIn master. Why not follow him? Because I know you're putting that content out there. And through you, they can find Esmeralda. So they can give her a follow as well. You have Absolutely. Been fabulous. We have covered so much. And this is probably one of my longest length shows, and I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface. So we're going to have to do a part 2, Mike, because this is just fabulous. So thank you for being with us. You are a wealth of knowledge and so generous. I really love every single one of our conversations. I walk away with pages of notes. So thank you all for everything you brought to the table today.
Thank you, Antonia, for having me here. We're a good team.
Yes, we are. Yeah. All right. And for our listeners who stuck with us the whole time, thank you for being here with us. I know you walked away with pages of notes as well. So come back and see us give it the likes, all the good things to let us know that you got some value out of today. Ciao, ciao for now.
Thank you for listening to the Speak Pact podcast. To become a recommended speaker of Antoniette's WPC speaker agency, or you are a host or planner looking for a dynamic expert in optimized performance, Antoniette would like to personally meet with you. Secure a time with her at speakerbooker.com. Again, that is speakerbooker.com. It all begins with a vision, a voice, and a pact to impact. Join the Speak Pact movement by joining our new private Facebook group at the link in our show notes. Find us on nearly every social media platform at One Antoniette. That's number 1, ANTONIETTE, or simply hashtag SpeakPact.